Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to an evening edition of Trading Bitcoin. As you can see, I'm finally back home, back in New York. It's great. I love having my three monitor setup and my nice Yeti microphone. So I actually couldn't wait to get back on and start podcasting. I'm a little tired. I'm about to go to bed, but you know what? I actually had some work to do the moment I got back. But a couple of people asked, and you know what? I always ignore Australia. It's one of my biggest client bases. I have a huge following in Australia, and I know anytime I do a video after like 9 a.m. Eastern time, it's like terrible for Australia. It's like the worst time. So it's good. I mean, doing them at night. The East Coast suffers the most, and England and the west side of Europe is about to wake up in like an hour, so it'll be perfect. I'll try and keep this short. I do have Corey helping me with questions because he's on the West Coast, so he's still awake. A few crazy people on the East Coast, they are probably still awake. But anyway, let's get on with it. Going straight to screen share. I don't really have any news now that I'm home. We're gonna start bringing the Daily Show back with covering the news and stuff. But for now, let's just go straight to here. My usual disclaimer. It's not even a disclaimer. Please learn trading. It's very complicated. It's not simple. It's very difficult. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Sections 1 to 5 is traditional trading. Section 6 is more advanced stuff, which is the stuff that I have been using to trade with. Now, I go way beyond this for the advanced trading that I do. And maybe one day I'll be teaching some of that when uh, like the somewhat advanced trading I can still teach. The stuff that I currently do to make money, I'll never teach until I stop trading it to make money, either because I got bored, kind of like I do with this stuff, or because it's no longer making as much money as it did, um, or I just want to move on. All right. So that's kind of how it works. Um, my consulting section provides more information on some of these indicators. And finally, my trading seminar is this Saturday. I got about 5 seats left. So if you are in New York and you want to attend, of course, the cost is zero point 0.1 Bitcoin, and the seminar will be for the day. It's usually 7 hours. So it'll start around 9:30 in the morning and it'll end around 4:30 or something. All right. And all the details are, of course, here. Trying to get some more testimonials in here from past attendees. All right, let's move on. Like I can probably check Twitter for some news, but it doesn't matter. Let's go straight to the chart. Um, so the weekly chart's looking good, looking a little too good. Like I would have been happier with, some smaller candles. But hey, we're gonna get a price flip here. The moment the price of Bitcoin goes above 11,000, it goes above 12,000, right? The moment, oh no, not the high, sorry, the close. The moment the price of Bitcoin goes above 11,700, we're gonna get the price flip. So that's good. A price flip puts us into neutral territory, even though based on traditional trading, the weekly chart, you should already be in this bullish trade based on traditional trading. The time indicator is a little more conservative, and in this case, right, the time indicator is aggressive when you have arrows like this, right? Like you don't have to wait for this area to short when you have a 9-13 combo on the same day. And by the way, this code should be out next week, guys. Next week. That's my timeline. I'm getting this code out at the end of the month. Almost done. Time for the testing phase. Um, and So right now we're gonna get a price flip soon if this bullish momentum continues. Remember, today is only Monday, and we still have 6 days to go, but the weekly chart's looking good. The daily chart is running into resistance, though it doesn't seem to be doing all that much. Now, the current candle still has a lot of time. It still has the majority of the day to go. And right now, the opening of this current candle started out below 3 levels of resistance. And at current prices, we are above all 3 of the resistance levels. So if we close above all of this resistance, I will be bullish for at least 2 more days, and we can easily pop into the next set of resistance, which is the vicinity of 12,500. Okay. But I will be looking for some pullback on a daily nine. A daily nine is usually very good. Even here, it gave you a nice, little pullback. Here you had just a crazy candle, and here it didn't do much, but I explained this well. And this nine gave you a serious pullback. So I will be watching the nine in 2 days very closely. But a close here now. If this candle runs away from you, right? Like if it goes straight to 12,000 and beyond, then you can there's two ways to deal with this, right? So first of all, according to the rules of the TI indicator, the long trade happened right here. Upon the entry of this long trade, your initial stop loss, I mean, the swing low, I'm sorry, the audio. I keep forgetting about the audio viewers, right? So, according to the time indicator, the entry was about 6 days ago. So, the entry was on February 15th at a price of 9,500 or thereabout. Your initial stop loss, I know the very initial stop loss would have probably been kind of low at 7,800, but immediately upon the closing of this candle, immediately upon the closing of the candle on February 15th, I would have set my stop loss in the middle of this candle with a one on it, February 14th, which is also known as an expanded range candle. Something I never really mentioned before, but those that attend my seminars know exactly where that term is coming from, an expanded range candle. All right. I would have set my stop loss in the middle, and then after this pop on February 17th, you definitely raise your stop loss to way above break even. Okay. You had a pullback off of the resistance 2 days ago or a day and a half ago. That pullback only lasted 1 day, even though it fell $1,000. And then we're now going back up. So again, if I see a close above the 50-day moving average, tomorrow's higher open and higher high, well, there's no such thing as higher open, right? I'm thinking about traditional markets. So tomorrow's higher high would kind of get me into the trade, but because it's going to be an 8 candle, I wouldn't like go in that trade. I would be staying in the trade that should have been entered 6 days ago and looking for an exit. So basically, if we close above 11, where's the 50-day moving average? If we close above 11.4 tomorrow night, and I'll be bringing you guys a video tomorrow morning. If we close above 11,400 tomorrow, then I will be looking to take profit, well, theoretical profit, right? I would be advising to take profit from a long trade, not even advising. I would be recommending to take profit from a long trade in the vicinity of 12,500 because I don't see any resistance here, right? I see open air between 11.4 and 12.5. So at 12.5 in about 2 to 3 days, might be a good idea to potentially take some profit. All right, don't get greedy here. Here's the 4-hour chart. Now, the 4-hour chart has stagnated. I vaguely remember what I said this morning. I think I said I wouldn't be chasing it at these levels, but this is my double tops rule, right? Like once you had 3 4-hour candles to exit at 11,150, I had a pretty high expectation that we're going to go higher. Now that we went higher, we made a higher high, and now the current 4-hour handle, 4-hour candle is hanging around in the vicinity of the 4-hour high. I would still expect this to go at least 2 candles higher for a 9, and then a short pullback. Okay. Now, we did get a little pullback here a few hours ago, right? So at 10 p.m., we got a little pullback, and I would attribute that to exhaustion on the hourly chart. The hourly chart hit one of my favorite nines at 10 p.m. Eastern time. It pulled back for 2 out of 4 candles, and now it has started an additional uptrend. Okay, so we're about to get another 13, though those 13s don't seem to do all that much. The traditional 13s. With one more like up candle, we would basically get a 13. Oh man, I'm starting to yawn. This means I need to go to sleep. Um, that's actually about it. Yeah, I don't really have anything else. People are talking about some kind of a Litecoin pump. Um, well, I think I talked about this morning, and I said, "Hey, you're pulling back into an area of support, so a bounce off of this green line would have been perfectly reasonable." And it looks like the bounce has occurred. Now we're still nowhere near all-time highs, and you haven't had a price flip yet. So the daily Litecoin chart can just be getting started for its pump. Here's the weekly chart. The weekly chart isn't all that impressive. This arrow is almost in the way, but yeah, you are back above my resistance line. And here's the good news for you Litecoin holders, right? Like you're still on 5 of 9, and if you get anywhere in the vicinity of the all-time high of 0.025, there is a high probability that you're going to go significantly higher. So if you can get back to 0.025, there's a high chance that it can go to 0.03 or whatever, right? I mean, the whole idea is that you want to get back to these levels here, right? And all the way up there. Oh, man, it's late. It's like past 1 in the morning here, and I drove from DC today, so that took about 7 hours with all the traffic of President's Day holiday weekend. All right. That's about it. I'm really curious about the S&P 500 Open. In fact, I'm so curious. I want to see if I have a chart of the futures because I'm really curious where the futures are. If not, I just go to the ES1. Do I have that? I don't have ES, do I? That's the ticker. ES explanation point? No. Oh, wait. What is this? I have ES. Well, why is it called BTC 5-minute chart? I don't know why. I need to change the name. Rename. Hey, where's my data? Um, SPES SPX future. Oh man, tell me I have data. There's my data. Beautiful. There's my data. Candles look kind of weird. Indicators kind of weird too. There you go. It's better. Yeah, look, even in the futures market, the 9 really worked. What are these things? I don't remember what they are, so I'm just gonna delete them because they're in the way, and I don't remember what I drew them for. So this is today, 2:20. So the futures market is open, and nothing is really going on. And was this? Oh, okay. These are both one candle. So no action right now in the futures. Let's see what happens. Well, let's see what happens closer to morning open. Um, all right, Corey, you got any questions for me? I can. I've gone about 15 minutes. I'm willing to give it 15 more minutes, then I got to go to bed. So let's see what we got. I can glance at some tweets, see if there's anything interesting. I have visited the Museum of American Finance. There was like a Bitcoin event there once. I think that was the first event Larry Summers spoke about blockchain and Bitcoin. He knew absolutely nothing. He was just clueless. And the one thing I really enjoy, the one thing I really liked about the Museum of American Finance is they had like a gold-plated Monopoly game behind the glass. I thought that was kind of cool. All right, some questions are coming in. Let me check one more thing. I only have one list, guys. I need to update it. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. That's kind of awesome. Oh, it's like Whale Panda hasn't been tweeting. IOTA is just a centralized Ponzi scheme, basically. All right, let's go to your questions. I'm gonna flip the camera on. Enough Twitter. All right, what do you got, Corey? When is the global collapse coming? Well, hopefully never. I kind of like, staying alive. Next. Though I think I do fairly well in a complete, um, what do you call it? Like the Walking Dead scenario would be kind of interesting. I have my someone. I'm not like prepared, but I spend enough time, hiking in the woods and in stressful environments that I think I'd be fine. I know my friends are gonna try and find out where the hell I am to kind of join my. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I'll digress. How do we get these candlestick indicators? Well, you go to my website, Liberty Life Trail. You read about it in the education section. I talk about it the beginning of every video. Every video. Just look at the first 5 minutes of any video on my YouTube channel, and you will know how to get these things on top of your candles as well. But it's not free. Next. Can we expect a run up as fast as the 20K ever again? Yes. I mean, we haven't even had um any kind of serious adoption. I mean, look at the mempool, for God's sakes. It's like empty. Like it's like grossly empty. So yeah, we haven't had any kind of adoption. We haven't had any serious usage. We haven't had any S curve going on in Bitcoin. So yeah, we can easily go from like if let's say Bitcoin creeps up to 100K per coin, and then people start talking about Bitcoin in terms of bits and not Bitcoin. I mean, one Bitcoin can go from 100K to a million in like a month or two. I mean, that's what happens with S curve adoption. Um, I mean, there's a good video about it. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of James D'Angelo these days, but I mean, I started doing this Learn Bitcoin section like 4 years ago. For God's sakes, I never really finished it. I mean, look at the people on here. Like Um, Rick Falkling is like almost a total scammer now. Not even a Bitcoin. I mean, I'm embarrassed to still have this video, but this video is from 2011, and it was a really good interview back when he understood what Bitcoin was. I'm almost embarrassed to have it in my website now. But and same thing with James D'Angelo. He's another one that yeah, it's like guys, like honestly, it's like Andreas Antonopoulos is like the only guy that's left that I fully respect from when I came into the crypto space and I was learning from, right? I mean, guys like Greg Maxwell and Adam Back, they were around, but I mean, I wasn't really learning from them at the time. You know, you learn from guys like Andrea, like at the time, right? Like I came into the space in 2013. So I'm learning from guys like Charlie Shrem, Roger Ver, Eric Voorhees, Andreas Antonopoulos, James D'Angelo, Rick Falkling, I think Roger Ver, if I haven't said him, right? Like Trace Mayer. Like Trace Mayer is still sane, and Andreas Antonopoulos is still sane. Like the other like 8 people that I relied upon to understand what Bitcoin was in 2013, they've all gone like off the rails, like off the rails completely. Okay. But their videos from, you know, the 2012, 2011 days are very good. So I do recommend this video here. The S-curve video from James D'Angelo, Bitcoin 101 Blackboard. Now, I do not recommend listening to James D'Angelo as of 2015, but I do recommend listening to James D'Angelo pre-2015. Same thing with Rick Falkling. Like, I do not recommend listening to Rick Falkling as of 2014, but prior to that, he was good. You know, same thing with Roger, you know, like pre-2014, you know, can listen to him after that. Well, maybe some of these guys made it into 2015, but then it all went to hell. Anyway, you get the message. I need to update this section with better links. I mean, I haven't updated this page in like 3 years, so I mean, what do you expect? All right, next. Oh God, let me get out of here. Let me go back to trading. Learn trading. Please learn trading, guys. Please. Do you have any training videos yet? I do, but only for paying clients, right? Like I don't have any training videos to give away for free. I mean, I give away a website for free with all of these links being very, very good to read. I don't really like. I gotta monetize this somehow, right? I mean, I spend a lot of time dealing with trolls and dealing with, you know, answering questions and doing all these live videos. So yeah, so my trading education is my way of monetizing this. Like I thought I was gonna do it for free forever, but it was either, man, I'm really tired of this, or and let me just go back to trading, or hey, maybe I can monetize it and maybe I can stick around, continue and do an education. So hey, I decided to monetize it. So that I don't have any videos for free yet. I will one day. When I stop teaching basic trading and I start teaching advanced trading, I will then start to almost give away my basic trading stuff. But for now, it would also be disrespectful for people that attended my seminars, right? I mean, if you're paying 0.1 Bitcoin to attend my seminar, it's not right for me to then give away that video, right? I mean, those people paid to, you know, for proprietary stuff, and I do share the video with them after they attend. So, you know, if you find one of my prior attendees, you want to beg them for the video. I mean, if they want to, I mean, I can't stop them from sharing it, whatever. Next. Is it okay to buy BTC at 11,300? Well, if you are a buy and holder and you understand what Bitcoin is and you understand why you're buying Bitcoin, then my standard answer is you should have bought Bitcoin yesterday. That's my answer always. When people ask me, when should I buy Bitcoin? I always say yesterday. If you're going to hold it for any kind of period of time, 6 months and above, the time to buy is yesterday. You're not a trader. Just buy it. Next. If Tether is fraudulent, how much effect will play out? It's hard to say. It's hard to say because of the shitcoin bubble, right? Now, I happen to think that a collapse in Tether is maybe short-term problem for Bitcoin, but long-term awesome for Bitcoin, because all of these shit coins are going to have to rely on Bitcoin to trade against, and they're not going to have Tether to fall back upon. So there will be an influx back into Bitcoin in order to trade all of those shit coins. So I think a Tether collapse is actually mid and long-term good for Bitcoin. And it also creates a more stable market. Like, that's the thing. Like, I want the most honest market possible, and if Tether is fraudulent, I want it to go down sooner than later. um right, next. Yeah, it's like really hard to read the question when a person's name is like merging into the first word, so I'm not sure what the first word is. um anyway, something almost touched top of the descending channel. Are we going back lower? Well, it doesn't look like it to me at the moment. I mean, we do have um, a 9 coming up on a 4 hour in 2 candles, and a 9 coming up on a daily in 2 days. So, in 8 hours, more specifically in 9.5 hours, I would be looking for some pullback, but then make it a higher high into Wednesday, and then probably a bigger pullback. All right, next. Do you think the S&P 500 will roll over like it did in February 2016? And if it does, will it take BAC with it? BAC meaning Bank of America? Um, well, I don't know. I need to go and take a look what the stock market looks like in 2016. Um, do I want to do screen share? All right, let's take a look at it together. I'm gonna drop those. Rollover like in February of 2016. 2016, that's February. I mean, look, it fell hard. It rolled over, made a secondary low. I have a video about this area, by the way. Those that attend my seminars get to watch this video about this particular point in time as I explain the concept of divergence. See this divergence between RSI and also MACD, and then the price went lower. So the intraday doesn't count when it comes to momentum, only closing prices. So I use this example for divergence. So, I mean, can the S&P roll over for a secondary low? Yeah, ideally. I mean, I was talking about the secondary low in our videos on the World Crypto Network at the time. So can it do that now? Sure. I would actually kind of like for it to do that. And in fact, you have a nice reversal candle here. I don't like the fact that we're in a bullish count. So I would like to see this go up 6 more days into a 9 and then roll over. But it could roll over. I mean, like I said, Monday is going to be the big day. Monday is going to set us up. Tuesday, today. Today's trading, unless it's like a flat candle, if today's stock market has any kind of volume to it, and it's a big up day or a big down day, it's going to set us up for the next 2 weeks. So I'm watching today's candle very carefully. All right, next. If 12,000 breaks, what's the next resistance? Oh God, I gotta go to screen share again. All right, so it's not 12,000 that has to break. It's actually 12,500 that has to break. And to be honest, the next resistance is right there. So actually what I really need to do is I need to actually make this triangle properly. So that's the proper triangle. So that also means that it's not 12,500. That's the next resistance. That means that the next resistance is actually 13,000. 12,000, not 12,000. I don't really see much in the $12,000 range. I see it more as 13, though this triangle could have been drawn differently. That's also the Fibonacci line. So I'm actually going to go with 13. I'd say the next resistance is 13. And if we can break above 13, the next resistance is 14,600, which is the next Fibonacci line. Right, next. What happened to the mempool? Has spamming stopped, or are large players starting to implement SegWit? Both. It's usually both, right? So large players are starting to implement SegWit, and spammers have stopped. And I mean, I keep saying, look, guys, no one uses Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not very easy to use. It's a bit cumbersome. It's complicated, and everyone wants to give core developers a hard time instead of letting them program and make it easier and better and safer and more private and faster and more fungible. Okay. So it'll get easier, but for now, no one uses it. It's mostly still used for illicit purposes. Mostly. The hodling doesn't count. Okay. Trading doesn't count. Holding Bitcoin is not a use case. Well, it's a quasi use case, right? Because you're protecting your money from those with guns. Trading is not a use case other than it could give you a job or something to do, right? But they're not real use cases, guys. And low volume bothers me. It scares me. It means Bitcoin is potentially overvalued. All right, next. What are your thoughts with mining? Don't do it. Nice hash. Okay. So cloud mining is not a scam. Okay, sorry. Cloud mining that's actually mining on your behalf is not necessarily a scam. Now, if your cloud mining company comes with an MLM multi-level marketing scheme, not scam, multi-level marketing scheme as part of your cloud mining, then a Ponzi scheme out of that business is inevitable. Let me say that again a little slower, okay, for those of you on 2x speed. If you are if you're involved in cloud mining and you're not sure if they're actually mining, you're probably being scammed. If you're involved in cloud mining and the company that's offering you cloud mining also offers you a multi-level marketing component where you get to earn perpetual income from your family members and friends that you convince to join the scheme, this will eventually become an outright Ponzi. It's inevitable. If you are involved in cloud mining that does not have an MLM component and simply you give someone else money to run a miner on your behalf, you're probably just burning money away and losing money, right? So the answer is no, don't do it. If you want to run a miner on your own, kind of like for fun and to help decentralize Bitcoin, do it. I do it. I run a miner. I run an Avalon miner from Canon. I do not support Jihan and Bitmain, and I run it on Slushpool because I support Slushpool. Okay. Now, now only if you have some kind of an advantage in electricity will that miner actually be profitable. In my case, I run that miner at my cabin where the electricity happens to be subsidized across like thousands of other properties, which is great. So as long as I run one miner, no one probably knows what's going on. If I start creating a mining farm, all hell's gonna break loose. So I'm not planning on doing that. I also don't want to be responsible for a mining farm. It took me like 40 hours of my life to get that miner up and running. So I'm in no rush to do that again. The next. It's been 30 minutes. So why do I keep talking? That's a good point. I need to go to sleep. My this podcast lasted 35 minutes, and I will be back tomorrow morning for you guys. See you all on the next one. Didn't even show the affiliate code. Just go to my website, check out the affiliates. Talk to you all later.